take you down to the lake where the tree grows through the stream, where the night turns into day. Bug bite and itchy eye, we will sleep.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Eskwilax Hour. This is number 88. I'm your host, Efrain Martinez. And yeah, it's Friday. Thank you guys for being here. The Eskwilax Hour, where we bring you art, artist interviews, news, and all sorts of creative ideas that we go through every week and try to bring it on here and make it happen. And today we have an artist from Montebello. Well, he's staying in Montebello at the moment. His name is Francisco Palomares. He hit us up, I think, through social media. Just like I ask everybody, when I put out the word, I tell everybody, just email me, let me know what you're trying to do. You already see that we was not just like painting. We also have done, what was it, last 3 weeks ago, we did like Greenie. She brought the face painter. I mean, she did some face painting, and that was different from what we were doing before. Like, I was doing the graph pieces, and people were doing their like oil and acrylic. So we try to switch it up every now and then. But yeah, make sure you guys send your emails so I can put it on my calendar, and we set something up. Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you to all the artists that have been on here throughout this year and the year before. I think it was only this year, but thank you guys. Thank you everybody who's been helping out, just participating, just sharing on social media. So yeah, we're gonna welcome Francisco on right now, and yeah, we're gonna interview this cool guy.
Hey, how's it going, Efrain? How you doing?
And our audience over there, web audience.
Hey, how's it going, audience? Thanks for having me today. It's really a pleasure to be here and be able to express and talk about the progress of my painting and what I work on.
Yeah,
So-
man. Thank you. Thanks for responding. As I was telling the audience, I put out the online artist call out, for anybody who wants to be on the show. And yeah, thanks for responding.
Yeah, and it's great that you guys are literally down the
Yeah,
street
and
from
that's
where
what
I
he was
work.
saying. He was saying that, we're like 2 minutes, 3 minutes from here.
It's, like the neighborhood, like 5 minutes to get here, but longer to find parking, and that's what it's funny. So, it's always
I told them. Every week I tell the audience, there's traffic in Boyle Heights. Even though it's like a day after a holiday, right? It's like after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's still people out of like they went on trips and stuff, but it's still crowded. It's still traffic.
It's always crowded.
So, yeah, see, I wasn't lying. All right, man. Yeah, you want to go ahead and take a seat?
Yeah.
And this is just a tablet. And,
All right.
before we get started on speaking about your pieces,
Yeah.
you want to tell us a little bit about your background and like. You don't just paint, right? You do you went to school?
Yeah, I went to school for painting. I got a bachelor's degree in fine arts, drawing and painting specifically.
all right.
That was like my concentration. And I went to Cal State Long Beach.
Cal State Long Beach?
Yeah. So, which was sort of very interesting in how that happened. It was sort of needed to go, just looking for the proper art school to go to, never thinking that was gonna be the school that really launched me into something to be the artist that I am today, and just gave me that training. But before then, before I got Cal State Long Beach, there was other programs that I participated that really motivated me.
And did you grow up in Long Beach?
No, I grew up in East Los Angeles, and then I moved to Montebello, and then from Montebello I went to Long Beach. And
you were commuting?
No, I commuted for the first year,
Yeah.
and then I moved out there.
Oh.
Yeah, just because I could not commute, and
it's pretty far.
Yeah, and then I wanted to get the college experience and really just be on my own. So I was like, I need to be in the college, because it is a community school, and I always wanted to be more involved. I just didn't want to go there from 8 to 5 or whatnot, and just be like, go back home, because I
Of
didn't
course.
study and didn't work so hard to get into college just to do that.
That's true.
And so when I landed there, I knew that I needed to be there and be active.
And you mentioned that you went to Montebello High School?
I went to Montebello High School, yeah. 2008. I graduated in 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And did you study art there? Or they have any art programs available?
They
or?
did, and I did start taking art classes there. With my first class was like art. The intro, it was with Miss Williamson.
Miss Williamson.
And I have to give her a lot of credit, because she was the one that pretty much gave me, like, referenced me to this program that really catapulted me, and they really gave me the foundation to be an artist, which was Ryman Arts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of Ryman Arts.
Not yet, but good thing that you mentioned like such programs like that on here. That way the viewers and people find out.
Because have you ever heard of Avid?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so I was in Avid
cool.
in intermediate school.
Avid.
Nice, yeah. So you know how they like tell you how to like they push you and they give you resources and information how to get into college. And I remember we were looking into colleges and asking, where do you want to go, right? And everybody wants to go to USC, UCLA, all those top schools, because those are the top schools you want to go to.
Of course.
And I was like, well, what about the art colleges? Like, I'm curious. I'm into art, and I want to see what an art degree is like, or how does it take. And there was nothing. Avid didn't have anything about that, because
it was more.
They're the sciences and engineering and all that kind of curriculum. And I asked the teacher, like, there's no art colleges. He's like, well, you look it up. And I was like, all right. Like, I did, and I called, I remember calling Art Center, College of Art and Design in Pasadena, and asking them all these questions, like, do you guys have a mascot? Do you have, like, school colors? And they're like, nah, we don't. It's like, we don't do that. And I was like, that's interesting. And so I told my mom, I want to go visit these campuses. And man, we went to the Pasadena Art Center in Pasadena, and I was like, this is it. This is where I belong. I would just see all the artwork and the walls, and I got into the classrooms, and I was just in love with it. And I told myself, I need to be here. I need to do this track. And so I realized, well, I looked into what it takes, and you need to have a portfolio.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have a portfolio, so I need to make one, I guess, and I need to start taking art classes. And then, but I couldn't, because I had like Avid.
Avid didn't let you do certain things. I was in the same situation.
And I was like, oh man, like I need to do this now. I'm already behind. I'm already like, I need to.
Because it was more art school, right?
Yeah, it's all art.
The portfolio was really
art.
big.
Yeah, it's like
part of it.
You don't need to have certain grades as long as your portfolio is strong. You don't even have to take the SATs. And I remember saying, well, I guess I have to drop Avid because I need to start my portfolio now. And I remember telling my teacher that I was in 10th grade then. I was like 15. And she's like, do you really want to do this? Like, you really want to be an artist? An artist, like, it's struggling.
Kind
it's
of, discouraged.
Yeah, it's just like, don't you want, maybe you want a minor in art? And I'm like, no, like, this is it. Like, this is, I couldn't get it out of my mind. This is it. And I remember we had to have like a teacher parent conference. And it was like, I couldn't imagine this because I just wanted to take art classes.
Yeah.
And it was with the director of the Avid program, my teacher, and my mom and me. And, I gotta give her a lot of credit to my mom because that same day I called her like earlier in the day. I was like, Mom, they won't let me take art classes. I want to take art classes and I need to drop Avid. And she's like, okay, I'll be there after school, like right away. And then we were in this classroom and I was with the teachers. Your son wants to drop this program that gets him into college to take these art classes. And she's like, well, that's what he wants,
That's awesome.
And then it worked out so perfectly, man. It's like, just like, sometimes life works out so perfectly like that because they're like, okay. And then there was no space in the art class for me. there was no space, and
In the high school?
yeah, and the only way that I could get in was in the AM class, the first period, and there was no space, and somehow or another somebody decided to drop or change, and
then
I
you get
was
opportunity.
in. I was in, and and then I was like, this is it. And Miss Williamson was my art teacher, and I was just in love with that class. And what she did, she'll give me a project, right? Or like a class project. And I would just want to do that project and finish it as fast as I can. And I would finish within a week, and this project was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, I guess do it again. And I would do the same project. I would do the same project like twice, 3 times. I just could not get enough of it. And then one day she's like, you know, there's this program called Ryman Arts. Why don't you draw a self-portrait? And then she gave me this set of pencils. I've never seen like HB, 2B, 6B. And she's like, do a self-portrait and write why you want to be an artist. Or why do you love doing art? And I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but you know, something like I went to Art Center and I'm really in love with that program, with that space, and I want to go to college for that. And you know, and I was an Avid, and they taught us that if you pursue what you want to be, and submitted that application, and not knowing what the program was, man, not knowing. And weeks later, I get an acceptance letter from them. And so what I found out Ryman Arts was it's a weekend school.
Okay.
It's on Saturdays. But now it's Saturdays and Sundays
Oh,
because
but
it's
it's
grown.
still, it's
but
still
when I entered,
going?
yeah. Oh man, they started in 1990.
All right.
And it was just funny because I was born in 1990.
Oh,
I was like,
see,
shit, I was meant to be, man.
Yeah, exactly. No. And is it, as you were saying, is it only for like high schoolers?
It's only for high school students that show merit in the art and studio art, and they're fundamental. It's like we're gonna go from the fundamentals of how to draw, what are the materials, to life drawing, man. You know, I started doing like, you know, nude life drawing when I was 15, and it's because they're mature students that want to pursue this. You know, this is man, that talent that goes through that program is amazing. You know, you're in your high school, you're like the top.
Yeah, and then you go there and you're like,
it's like all stars, and you're like, oh man, I don't, what was I thinking? And so what it is, man, the program is incredible because it's free. So, and you go through 3 stages. You go to beginning, intermediate, and advanced. So beginning is like all drawing and like dry media. Intermediate, you get into watercolors, pastels, and advanced is all acrylic painting. And they give you all the supplies, man. Nice. It's like it's a $2,000 scholarship, pretty much. They pay for the instructions, they pay for the materials, they pay for the field trips. They pretty much pay for everything. Even if you take public transportation, they'll pay for it. That's
a good program.
Yeah, dude.
Especially at that age.
Dude, it's incredible.
And if you're an artist, you're trying to exactly find that.
Yeah, and you know, you're high school students, and you always hear you know, from where I grew up, you know, being in Montebello, and you say like, nobody really pursues art, or art is something that you do as a hobby, not as a career.
Yeah, especially, I don't know about you, but you know, my parents, you know, and we're Mexican.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't, you tell them you want to do art, they're going to think, get a real job. Or you always go against something, you know, some kind of words like that that'll hurt you and be like, damn. Yeah,
they'll tell you like, that's great, but are you sure you want to do that on the side as well with this, something that sustains that? And you're like, no. Like, I was really stubborn that I didn't want to listen to that. And so Ryman, and then the classes are taught by actual working artists that also teach. So they're not called like, they're not like, they're teaching artists, you know, so they'll have their own exhibitions, they're in museums. And so you're learning from someone that's in the field, in the career, dedicate their whole lives to that. They're not like just art teachers that go home and, you know, do their other stuff. They are in it. And that program really gave me like the skills and the motivation, and it really empowered me that because I used to always think that you had to be wealthy to take art
That's
classes.
that's just that's the
Yeah.
kind of the thing growing up. Me
Yeah.
too. It's like like I had art in my blood, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with it. And,
Yeah.
and then I was like, if I wanted to do something with it, yeah, I had to have
Exactly,
some
you
kind
gotta.
of monetary.
You need some type of money. I remember, and so I was like, I was thinking like, man, my it's just my mom because my dad passed away when
Yeah.
I was little, and I was like looking at art classes and it was like $200 tuition plus materials, and I mean maybe then it was not, she could afford it, but to me it was like, I can't ask her for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You look at it a certain way. And
Yeah, it's just like I can't. And this program showed me otherwise. It showed me that you could work really hard and find alternatives through scholarships, through mentorships, and you don't. And since then, I really didn't have to spend a lot of money in formal art education because it gave me the insight that as long as you apply yourself and do the research, you'll find other organizations like it. And so Ryman Arts was like my starting point.
Ryman Arts.
And from that point on, and you can check out the website at rymanarts.org, and it's every year they take applications and it keeps growing, man. It's just incredible because.
Well, that's good that there's something out there like that.
Yeah, because when I started, the classes were held at USC, so they even they already put you in that setting. You're already in a college drawing course at a college. Now they're at Otis College of Art and Design, and they're also at Cal State Fullerton. And so if you're more in the Orange County area, you'll go to Cal State Fullerton. If you're more over here in this area, you'll go out to Otis College of Art and Design. And they have morning and afternoon sessions. So it's like really...
And it's on weekends, right?
Yeah, it's on weekends too.
Yeah, it's like if you I mean, as an artist, you have to have a lot of passion to do something.
Yeah.
To take your weekends and spend them doing art, which
do it. Yeah, and they give you homework too.
Yeah.
Like you have homework every week. You have to do your homework, and if you don't do your homework, they're gonna treat you like if you were in college. Like if you don't show up prepared with your homework, they're gonna tell you, well, what's going on with you, man? Like, this is not a grade. This is about you. This is about your progress as an artist.
it's just they're giving you the responsibility.
Exactly, and so I think like 90% or even more of their students go on to college, if not into art college, and so yeah, and then from there they had all different kinds of programs. I remember that's the first time I ever went to like art camp to Ryman Arts. The same thing, you make we had to submit another application through them, and they send you to Idlewild, and I remember going to art camp, man. And I remember being surrounded by like this, you could tell it was a larger bracket you had to pay together, and I'm here like on a scholarship, and you just feel like a little out of place, but then
but I mean, once you get over that.
Yeah, it was all fun, man. I mean, our classes were outdoors, we were under a tent, and it was through that program, and that program I'm still active, I still, I've been a teaching assistant for them.
I was gonna tell you that, is that like some of the students themselves have become like...
Yeah, there's a lot of support there. Yeah, so that was my undergraduate job, being a teaching assistant.
Nice.
So, and during my undergrad, I never really got an internship, but I got to work, and it was through Ryman Arts, and I always find that as like my internship work experience, because I was able to
they helped you a lot.
They still do, man. They still support, and it, I don't see it no more like well, it is it's a nonprofit, but to me it's like a family, it's a network that you come back and you give, and I always find that sometimes it's not what you could get, but you get more when you give more, and that's what I found. Like the more I give to Ryman Arts, the more opportunities I find.
And And you interact with the students themselves.
Yeah, you just
So
see-
it's like you're watching yourself, right?
yeah, exactly.
You get
You're
to
like,
watch
I
yourself.
remember, and
yeah.
some of them are stubborn sometimes, and you're
Yeah.
like, you could fix this or add this color, and you can push this, and they're like, nah, like I like how it is. Or,
And I'm pretty sure there's a satisfaction to that. There's like,
oh yeah, it's like, cause you know, yeah, cause you know sometimes.
because that's where you started, and
Yeah,
and
that's
then
when I
you-
started.
And how long did you help out, like as an assistant?
A teaching assistant.
Did you see any of them, like their progress, like how they?
Do they grow? Like, yeah, they just get better and better. I mean, I don't always hear what they do afterwards,
Yeah.
but I always sometimes like I see them through like the Ryman Arts Network, what they're doing, and they're always, you know, they're always winning prizes. The students is crazy. They're always like,
So there you guys go. Ryman Arts, it's a
Yeah.
good program, especially if anybody that's watching is in high school.
yeah,
Look it up.
RymanArts.org, and so yeah, from there.
You said you went to Long Beach, right?
Yeah,
Cal
from
State Long
there
Beach?
I went to Cal State Long Beach, and that was like Mecca for me, you know.
Yeah, a lot of the artists that I know, they're
Yeah.
from Long Beach, and
Yeah.
many of them went to
Yeah.
Cal State Long Beach.
Yeah, it's a really good community.
I know Efren Luna. I think he went to Cal State Long Beach because he's done a couple of things for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and because we were out there doing the Long Beach Funk Fest.
Oh,
That's
really?
how I
Yeah.
met a lot of them because we
Yeah.
used to paint live with the festival. It was like
Oh,
a free
really?
festival.
Yeah, it's a great campus too, to just like be open and do things of that nature. And
Nice, man.
a lot of the artists there, I think that why it's a strong community as well is because a lot of the artists there don't really move from Long Beach, or they move out to LA. So the people that you graduate with or went to school, and even the instructors
Yeah.
themselves, like, stay here. You know, LA is a big.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the instructors.
Yeah.
Like they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, those are really great because you know that you get both worlds. You know, there is the kind of what they'll call the contemporary, which tends to not be a little bit more abstract, or
Yeah.
just like on theories and color, and then you have your very fundamental, you know, how are we gonna draw and how to draw what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
Very fundamental, kind of like old masters, you know, kind of that training. And then on top of that, you have with your theory and your concepts and your kind of, you know, how you could push this medium further. And so I feel that, you know, and sometimes I hear a lot of people like, they never taught me this in college and how to like,
Yeah.
well, they kind of do, they kind of don't, like how to start a website or how to market yourself and things.
Oh, I see you. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
it's
those
a little
kind of,
different
like,
branch. That's when,
Those
yeah.
those practical skills.
Yeah.
And I felt that, well, there was not enough time to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the canvas, you know, we're talking about how to be an artist.
Exactly.
And you kind of, you can't expect the school to tell you everything, you know, you got to go out
Some
there.
of it, yeah, you have to go out there and
You
just
gotta do
kind
and
of figure it
and
out.
fall and get up and you see like, okay, this is, and talk to people. So that's what I think I got the best education, that they taught me how to be an artist, how
Yeah.
to, you know, critique and learn from myself and continue my practice, you know, and not get stuck, you know. So I remember, you know, there's this concern of getting like painter's block or something. Where am I gonna paint next? But I think from all the training and the skills and exercises that I got from the school have enabled me to really create a message and be able to continue and never feel afraid of what I'm gonna paint next.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having a studio space helps a lot, you know, that environment.
And after you finished Long Beach,
Yeah.
you came out here, Ball Heights, to your studio directly, or
No, man. That was, well, yeah, that was hard because I was like, huh? Now it's for real. Because I was always given a studio space.
Yeah.
I had the
So it wasn't
place.
really-
So now I'm like, this is for real. Now I gotta really find, you know, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my mom, so it's like, there's no space. And then even if I did find the space, it's like my mom, I can make it dirty and I want to leave it there.
Of course, as an artist,
Yeah, you want to make messiness, and you're limited to how big you can go and things. So I'm like, okay, I need to find a place, and it took me about a year constantly. I had to at the same time find some time for steady work, and so I started working. I would do seasonal work at East Los Angeles Community College,
All right.
which was great because it totally opened my eyes. I was so used to the world of Long Beach. It's another bubble in itself. Come out here, it's like a bigger demographic, all ages.
Different, yeah, it's different.
So I was like, this is great. This is good experience, and making friends, man. I made some like. Because I was all in Long Beach, I really didn't have any friends. Again, I was in Long Beach for 6 years, and all my friends are in Long Beach. And coming back, I was like,
you didn't know that many out here.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know the artists, I don't really know the community, and it was almost like finding my community. Because I remember in high school feeling upset because I felt there was not enough for me here as an artist, and I guess I wanted someone to give me something. And so when I come back, I'm like, no, this is a prime location to make something. Yeah. You know, to gather your artists and create pop-up shows. And so that's what I was doing with my buddy Jesse Calderon and Manuel Lopez. They're working artists, and they're all about the neighborhood, and they're oil painters, and we set up like a big show here at Corazon del Pueblo. Okay. When it used to be down here on First Street.
Yeah, it's not there anymore, right?
It's not there, unfortunately. We had the last show there before they had to close their doors.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw the flyer for that.
Yeah, it was called Groundwork, Dance of Our History. And it was like Jesse's, he does like large-scale Aztec paintings of like Aztec dancers. Yeah. And Manuel does like, he's more like traditional codex, Aztec, like I'm not sure, like glypher? No, glypher, like codex, you know, like the Aztec.
Hieroglyphics?
Hieroglyphics, there you go. And he went to like Chicago Art Institute, which is like, because me and Jesse went to the same school. Okay. And he went to the Chicago Art Institute, so it was good to see another feel of art, because I remember one of his comments was, I could tell you guys went to the same school because of the way you guys kind of paint. You kind of have the same feel and the same colors. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. It's kind of interesting. And he has a different feel for it as well. And I'm like, I like this. I like to see that.
Yeah, it's always good to meet
Yeah. And so we were, you know, they became really close buddy of mine here in LA, and I feel like they reintroduced me to the neighborhood, man, and what these people are doing in like this artistic side of the community.
And right now, do you guys have any like events or any pop-up?
Not right now. We kind of you just kind of get busy.
Yeah, of course.
Just kind of what happens a lot is that we'll submit artwork and we'll end up in the same shows. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's sort of, that's kind of what happened. Like for example, Avenue 50, yeah, you know, we'll apply, and then like, I already know like he's gonna be in it. Like, you know, I already know sometimes like through them I've been able to really kind of establish a more community. Yeah. And I kind of see the faces are becoming really familiar.
Avenue 50?
Avenue 50, yeah. Have you ever visited that?
No, but there's a dude on my Facebook that he exhibits there.
Yeah, it's on Highland Park, and that was a gallery that I used to visit when I was in high school, and it's like
surreal?
Surreal to have worked there and know the director and just kind of be in like a very have friendships like that. And
yeah, it's good because everybody's on the same page.
Everybody's working. So, and then after a year, I remember. So then I would do seasonal work at East Los Angeles Community College, and then when that work was over, I was like, okay, what now? Yeah. And so with this little dude right here, this became my studio. So, you know, I would go out into the neighborhood and paint landscape, so plein air painting. Nice. And I would just go out and paint what I saw.
And did you get a lot of like a mini audience? People just kind of
interacting? People would trip out. Yeah. They're like, what are you doing? Because they're just walking. I'm like, I'm painting. What are you painting for? Or just because, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm into this, and like, are you gonna sell these works or are you exhibiting? Be like, well, I want to, like, I wanna. Are you represented by a gallery? I was like, nah, I'm just, I'm doing, and then it will catch people off guard out of their daily routines, and a lot of kids will come up and be like, just be amazed that someone's spending their days out here just painting and doing what they like to do.
Yeah, one of the things we talk a lot about here with the other artists is, a lot of it, the kids.
Yeah.
You never know who you might influence just by doing small
and telling them to
activities.
do
Yeah.
it. I don't know how often they get like someone telling them, go do it, go do that, go draw some more.
Because especially like in certain sides of town, the areas, you don't really have those tools, those spaces where kids can actually be like,
and that's and that's what I always thought of, like just having extra materials, or they just want to set up there next to me and draw, or and just and show them that you're just like them, like you're not like look like different, like you look like you're like one of their cousins or something like that.
And basically show them that you can do it. It's just a lot of, it is work. It's at the end of the day, you still have to practice your skills, your drawing. You have to. You gotta your painting,
refine it.
Exactly.
That's what and so that was fun, man. That's great because you also get to interact with the community. You get to hear them and just hear them out. Sometimes you just hear them out, and the community is really nice. Sometimes they'll come and they'll be like, "You want some water? You want some food?" Like, I was like, "Yeah." That was kind of like the person. I'm like, I hope someone like comes through and says like, "You want something?"
Yeah, that's good. That's good that they have they receive it well.
Yeah, and then so I was doing that, and one day I found this. I'm signed up at this Los Angeles CultureNet, LA CultureNet. Have you ever heard of that?
Probably in my browsing.
It's cool. Yeah. It's what it is. It's an email. It's a email like system where any kind of job employment, like any type of art, like employment, art employment, jobs, artist calls, they'll send you an email. Yeah. Like an organization will send a LA CultureNet to post this, their position or artist call that they're looking, and then they'll send it to their group. And I found one, and then one day they were like, for MoCA, Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, we're looking for gallery attendance, this new program that is starting, which is your park security, tell people don't lick the art, don't grope it, things like that. And someone that is informed about art and could have dialogues, have conversations with the visitors.
Especially as a museum, so.
Yeah, because MoCA sometimes is challenging to be like, why is this art? I could do this.
Yeah.
A child could do this. Why is this millions of dollars? And it is totally valid, man. Like sometimes you tell yourself too, but it's the practice, it's the skills, and it's the mindset. The
time you put in it too.
Yeah, and the content and breaking the rules and things of that. And so I applied, and somehow I ended up there, man. And that's where I'm at now.
MoCA?
As a gallery attendant.
That's good.
And it's the perfect job, man. It's the perfect job for a working artist because, it starts at 10:15, man. That's perfect because I'm not a morning person. 10:15 to 6. You're in there with the artworks, and you're there for X amount, and you talk to people from all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world, and you just hear that. You hear them, and the work starts to speak to you, man. Like I feel like it has really helped me in my artwork because it's almost going back to art history classes.
Yeah.
Because not like the supervisors, the staff there are sure that know what you're talking about. They don't just throw you into the galleries.
Not just any.
We have discussions, we still have to read articles, we have to do presentations, and we just get more and more informed. We get to talk to the curators.
Nice.
We talk to all different staff levels in MoCA, so gallery attendants are really well informed, knowledgeable, and themselves are artists.
Yeah.
Which brings, so not all are painters. Some are performer, like art performance, video. They do like videography. They do music. They do acting.
And then they expect like you guys to
to
keep a conversation.
Exactly.
And that way they know they're
Yeah, so it's just not anybody. So that's like and so you do your hours, and then at 6 you're out and go into the studio, man, and you're just you're not stressed, you're not
doing
worried.
your art.
To go.
And that's pretty close right here too, right? Mocha's like
Dude,
Little Tokyo. No.
Little Tokyo, there's one. There's two
Yeah.
locations
Yeah.
or three locations. The Geffen Contemporary is one of them. There's a Mocha on Grand Avenue, right in front of the new museum, the Broad. And then there's the other one by LACMA, which is the Pacific Design Center.
Oh.
Yeah. And then on Thursdays, from 5 to 8, both locations are free.
Okay.
Pacific Design Center is always free. So if you always want to check it out, from 5 to 8 every Thursday
Is that
free.
the one you're at, or?
I'm at both.
Okay.
So
switch
our
around.
schedules, they gave us both locations. And so, so yeah, that's free. And then they're usually followed by like performances.
Yeah.
So they have outside artists do like either music performances or lectures or whatnot. It's like becoming, Mocha's coming back to the map, slowly. I remember for the longest, it was a place that not a lot of their visitors' engagement was lower. And so now it's, bringing this new programming.
Yeah.
Involving more of the families and other artists. And so I got that employment, and that's when I decided to start looking for studio space, because it was like steady work now.
Nice.
And one day I was just like, Craigslist, man. It was just like one day I was looking around, and I found this studio down the street here. And I went to go check it out, and it's a studio space that started by Jaime Guerrero. And Jaime Guerrero is a glass blower. He does figurative glass blowing. I don't know. He's pretty active
he
here.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's an active dude here too, which is...
He's not in LA, right? Right now?
He might have gone to Texas because he was
I
doing
think I
an
know,
installation of a bullhorn or like big old sculpture piece. But he's back.
Glass,
he's back, and he
him.
teaches classes, glass blowing classes. He directs it mostly for the youth. I think for the youth is like super cheap, and then for adults is a different price.
Of course,
he's trying to get that money to put it back into teaching the youth. And so he's working with charter schools and that to teach. So it's slowly growing.
And so that's the space you're...
Yes. And pretty much, which is like, it houses like 10 other artists.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because I think I knew somebody that they were making like glass.
Yeah.
Also,
you'll teach like high school students and stuff like that. He's got like people come help him out, and he's like a mentor. And which I find so interesting how things just line up sometimes, man, because he's really become a mentor for me as well. He really helps me out and kind of informing me about how to be an artist, how to be a working artist. I could really ask him questions, and he's going to be really straightforward with me. And
that's good.
Even if he doesn't do painting, I could just be like, what do you think of this painting? And he'll like give me his other perspective of a non-painter, or and I just feel really fortunate to have found somebody that's really accessible and open for me to ask him questions. And through that studio space, it has allowed me to really grow my community, because I talk to the other artists there, and it just expands and expands, and I think that's what it's about, right? Because I don't really got all that money, or
you gotta, because I mean you've gone through all the schooling now you're in the real.
I'm in it, and that's a challenge, man. Like I kind of just having the stamina, endurance, and
also the passion.
Yeah, to just be like, sometimes you're like, man, what is this all about? Like, why do I do this? What does this mean? I like to paint really big, man, like really, really big paintings. And
so I mean, as the audience can see, we have the slideshow,
Yeah.
and you can pretty much go through it, and then you want to let us know how big it is, because you're saying that you like to paint.
So
big.
this one will be my more medium size, and I would say this was the beginning of everything. And this is the first painting that I did in my studio.
Yeah.
And this is called King Cloud, the B-Day Boy. And so this is actually a buddy of mine's from Mocha, and I would always notice that he will put these little crowns over these sheets. So he was just like, he's an artist as well. And I was like, man, like I love portraiture. Like portraiture is one of my favorite things to paint, or the figure. And so, you know, and this is part of a series. So I work in a series, which this one's like about growing up. So and then I thought, man, like I gotta do a quinceañera painting, man.
Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah, I've seen this one.
The quinceañera painting.
You're on Instagram, right?
That's
exactly. Where I saw this one.
Yeah, and I was like, I love this, you know, which is all about. I got this studio and, you know, realized how before then it was kind of a little easier to be an artist. I didn't have to really focus about finances and all that. But now I have to finance my studio, pay rent there, pay all kinds of bills, and being like, oh man, I gotta be smart about my finances, you know, like, and it's all about kind of growing up. And then this one right here is called, you know, I still kind of figure out the name, but right now it's called like The Matrix.
Matrix?
Yeah, and it's all about reality and what is reality and what is not reality.
Sometimes it seems like an illusion.
Yeah, so so all the works that I'm showing are mixed media.
I was going to ask you if it's all acrylic.
This is acrylic, oil painting, photo collage, and wood. Okay. And so the static is photo collage, the background like the sunset is acrylic, and the individual is an oil painting. So the face and all that, and then that warmth like thing is a piece of wood that comes out of the canvas.
And is that somebody you know also?
These are all people that I know. These are all, so I see myself as I'm kind of doing my work. I see myself as a director creating a movie, because as I work, I want to tell a story. This story about growing up, about what is important to me. What is important to me? Is it having nice clothes, or being able to paint, or being able to, or helping somebody else? So this is mixed media, because essentially the person is the real person. He's for reals. And
then the ideas in it, is that like about him?
So no, it's sort of like see, because I kind of, you know, it would be boring to make just paintings of myself, like me in different settings. Like I was too too narcissistic. Yeah. So I kind of put my emotions and feelings onto other people.
All right.
So I looked, you know, I was kind of view him and see like, man, like he's perfect for this type of painting, which talks about, you know, I was like thinking of like Neo and Morpheus and things like that. Yeah. And I was like, this kind of speaks to what I'm feeling right now, because I'm thinking, what is the most important to me? Having a really good job and striving to be on the top of the ladder, or having a job that pays enough to have a studio and enough to materials, and it always comes back to materials and studio. So what is real is him. And then we live in a society like in California of stars, you know, celebrities, that we have these beautiful sunsets, you know, and the whites, you know, you see the white in the middle. It's like the screen, like this is all screen. This is all superficial. But then I kind of want to make it happy and include the rainbow, because it's like static. It's like when you find the emergency signal and it comes on, it's kind of like that. And so, and then it's followed by Loco Coco. So this is an actual clown.
It's a clown, I see him on Instagram.
Local Coco, I met him at an art show.
Yeah.
And I remember he did like a balloon, an animal balloon, and he was like, "I'm walking a coons right now," and I was like, "Are you familiar with coons? A big guy that does these big like animal balloons." Like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
inflatable, and
yeah.
His name is Coons.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really funny, and I'm like, I need to stay in touch with this guy. I need to have him as a. He needs to be in my painting. And so Local Coco, Trapped in Reality, is pretty much another side of me. And this is oil, crayon, and wood. And so his hat is made out of wood. And his portrait is oil painting, and the background is crayon. So I would like to, well, if you could see better, but the background is based off a drawing that I did when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh yeah.
I was in 3rd grade and I made this drawing and I won first prize for that. And so what it means is, ever since I was little, I wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, and now I still want to be an artist. I still want to do that, and thinking how it's hard to keep that dream alive. There's so many factors that are like this better employment opportunity, but it might not give you the chance to be an artist, or this and that, or the choices you take to keep you in that route. And so the idea is like, am I this clown or this figure that's trying to keep this 8-year-old boy's dream alive? Am I trapped in this reality?
Yeah.
Or, so it's sort of speaking about that. This artist trapped in this child's reality, this clown. So that's sort of where I take my paintings. And so, in the infinity sign or the trapped, it could be handcuffs or an infinity sign. It never ends. You just cannot get out of it. And so from there, I started doing this balloon series. And this is because I'm a really, still lifes is one of my favorite subjects. When I want to practice my painting, I go back to still lives. And so this one's called Coca Life. It's all about just like here in Boyle Heights, what I see. But balloons are really, they embody a person's emotions and the human lifespan, because I had this happy face balloon and it's half wrinkled, half deflating, and it just really speaks about someone's emotions. It really speaks about what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And so this was a little fun one. This is like an exercise where I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. And so I go to the next one and it's like Local Coco.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it the same dude?
Yeah, Local Coco, but this one's like Local Coco wins the lotto. So this is me like dreaming that I win the lotto. Like I want to win.
Yeah.
I want to win in this game of art. And so now he's like putting the infinity sign as a tie because he's getting ready to shine. And if you look,
I think he's smiling, right?
He's smiling too.
Smiling.
He's happy because he won the lotto. And if you pay attention to the balloons, this is when I'm starting to involve more balloons now, and where they're starting to become more of what I want to say with them. You see a star, you see a heart, and the hearts and the star balloons represent hopes and dreams and your loves.
Yeah.
So the star, you want to be a star, you want to fly, shine high, and the heart is you want to keep it full, you want to keep love, and you want to keep this dream alive.
Yeah, especially keep doing art.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, and that's because I'll apply to like artist calls or these galleries, and get in, and you're like, damn, I was like putting all my heart into it, and that's why they're not fully inflated, because it's just like life, you just kind of sometimes you get a little punch on the side.
And how big are these?
Yeah, so this one is life size. So this one's like 4 feet by 7 feet tall.
7 feet, that's pretty big.
It's a huge. It's like it's what it is. It's like if he was to walk out of that drawing, he could literally walk out of, and that's done in charcoal. That's a charcoal drawing on a piece of paper.
Paper?
Yeah. And then, and this is like chilindrina right
The
here.
chilindrina.
And this is a little smaller one. This is a little practicing with the negative space. Here I'm just trying to focus on my subject, chilindrina. And I started to work with piñatas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it a piñata?
Yeah, it's a piñatas, and it's sort of like reclaiming my culture, thinking what is really authentic, because it's all, these works that I'm showing are like celebratory pieces, things that at a birthday party, you know, that's why they kind of have like that kind of name that, you know, clown. You see, you have
Clowns,
a clown, a
the
birthday,
piñatas,
king clown,
balloons,
the B-Day boy. You know, he's growing the quinceañera.
Cake.
You know, these are all coming of age, getting older, celebratory. So like, and so the chilindrina, the piñata, and it's like you're getting older, so you get like a really funny, maybe an interesting position of what she's doing. You know, like looking underneath her, sort of like this growing up. You know, you're not this infant anymore.
Yeah,
you're
of course.
Child. And then it brings the other piñata here, and this one's 4 feet by 6 feet, and so this is just kind of playing with the illusion. You know, when you see it from a distance, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I thought it was just a piñata hanging," but when you come closer, it's an oil painting.
Yeah.
And it's super realistic, like, or hyper realistic, and it is coming back to the piñata and pushing that subject further. And then this is one of my most recent paintings, and this one's called Caballito.
Caballito, yeah, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
I like this one.
And this is a 5 feet by 7 feet painting. And essentially, this is two worlds in one. And you know, sometimes I envision a painting.
Yeah.
I envision a painting, and I don't know what it means or why or whatnot, but it's sort of why I like to paint so big is because it's like an exercise. It's like if you go out running, you know, and it's like I'm exercising my body, my mind, and as I'm exercising, it starts to click why my mind thought about it, why.
So your subconscious.
Yeah,
There's something in there.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a moment where I was just feeling and thinking how Boyle Heights is really changing, man. You know, how it's changing. A lot of new type of faces are showing up, like demographics and cultures and restaurants and cafes. Something that wasn't, you know, this wasn't like a spot where a lot of people wanted to cross over from downtown LA. Yeah. Now it's become the spot, or it's becoming the spot.
Becoming this spot, yeah.
To be here. And you know, it's like good and bad, you know. You can't really say it's all bad or it's all good. It's just an interesting world it's a progression that's happening. And so what this is, it's a painting that I paint. The background is like a old Renaissance painting.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do an old Renaissance painting. I wanted to because a guy in one of my studio does art restoration.
Okay.
And they bring a lot of old paintings to him. There's really old Renaissance paintings for him to clean and restore. And I always look at them. And I remember one time having a conversation. He's like, "Can you do this?" Like he was asking me because you're just talking,
like
chatting. He's like,
style?
"Maybe we can reproduce, you know, make some forgeries and sell them." And I was like, I could paint that all day. I just don't find. It's not me.
It's not what you're doing. Yeah.
It's not. It's not authentic to me. So, but I wanted to do a big one, and I was thinking of the piñata, like this one right here in the back, right? This is my prized possession. The piñata is my prized possession. So, this is my prized animal in a sublime landscape, like like a ranchero, right?
Yeah.
You have your prized bull, and you have a photo of it. And so it's like my prized possession. But then as I'm doing it, I came to a realization that is sort of everything around me is changing, not just for my family, but the families of my friends that are all Latinos, you know, that have been here for a while, and their whole environment is changing, and it's becoming this other aesthetics, you know, that you know, the nicer looking restaurants, nicer looking cafes, these venues that weren't here before. They're supposed to be, you know, kind of this pristine look. But at the end of the day, my community is here. So it's like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know, this whole what's happening on Anderson over here with these new galleries that are coming up, and they're not really for the community. It's all like more profit. And so it's sort of, at the end of the day, this whole environment is changing, but you're gonna have to learn how to work with the Latino community. You're not gonna just kind of move in and not.
Yeah, especially Boyle Heights, because Boyle
Yeah.
Heights has been, you know, been fighting it now.
Exactly.
You know, it's
So
not just,
it gives you
take it,
proof.
yeah.
Yeah, it's giving you proof that they're not just gonna give it up. That they're gonna say something.
Just-
They're gonna.
Yeah, just like what happened to the other community.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
gonna give you a ticket to vacate. So that's what I did, and actually I had this one in a exhibition that's opening December 3rd in Salt Fine Art Gallery, which interesting is in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm showing this one, and then from here, let me see. It's not. Oops.
Yeah, sometimes it lags in.
Oh, okay. And so, so this is like where I'm kind of at right now, and then and kind of progressing. But before all this, I kind of wanted to start from where it started, you know, like how my voice became more concrete,
Yeah.
and how the idea of portraiture and still lives came to effect. And I did a study exchange program in China. I was living in China, Guangzhou, China, for 5 months.
You live there?
Yeah, I
Oh,
lived
nice.
there, man. Guangzhou Academy of Fine Arts. It was an
Nice.
exchange program between Cal State Long Beach and the south of China. And so I remember, and then this is the first piece that I did right here, and this one's called Playboy.
Playboy?
And this is actual dude in China, but he didn't have all the tattoos.
Oh, okay.
He
That's
didn't,
insane.
that's what
That
people
guy
ask,
looks-
like, did he have the tattoos?
that guy looks really friendly.
Yeah, yeah. This is me bringing East LA to
Yeah.
China. And so you'll see on his chin, Long Beach, LB. Essentially what it is, it's my story tatted on this Chinese
Yeah.
man. And this is done
Was
in
he an
oil
artist
painting.
also? Or
No,
you
some
just,
guy
you
that
did-
would just walk on the street.
Oh,
That I
okay.
just saw walking, and one time he was in my classroom, and he was just like, you know, as a foreigner, I would say, in China, you know, you get a kind of sort of attention sometimes. So
Yeah, of
people
course.
get always curious about you. What are you doing here? Do you
Yeah.
speak Chinese? What's up? So I asked him to pose for me, and I did this, and you know, dude, those Chinese students, man, that school, they're like on a whole different level. They're skilled.
Yeah.
They're skilled, and I'm trying to catch up. You know, I'm trying to learn. You know? So I'm like, there's definitely no way that I'm gonna paint as good as they can, or the kind of practice that they've had already. You know, they've been practicing for years. It's sort of when they see a young child show potential, they're
Yeah.
just gonna fully immerse you in that.
Nice.
And so by the time they're in college, they're like master painters. And so I'm like, but then how do I push this subject? And I just thought of bringing East LA, and I gave this is my story on him, tatted on him. So then, and then this was a friend that I made, which is really I can't remember her Chinese name, but what's really cool in China is that, you know, when they're learning Chinese, you have to give yourself a name, an English name. And some of the names they pick for themselves is sometimes interesting, man. So the name she gave herself was Bread, you know?
Bread?
Yeah, like the piece of bread. And I was like,
It's just like when people get tatted, like the words or something.
Yeah,
and then
it's just-
water.
yeah.
If they were to look at it like, what do you have water?
Yeah, it was totally natural. Bread. I think her
cool.
whole name was like Bread Rainbow. That's like what she gave her song. And I'm like I'm
That's
like,
cool.
this is dope. Like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I actually met another Francisco there. It was this tall Asian guy, and I was like, why did you choose your name as Francisco? It's not English.
Yeah.
It's like, it's definitely Spanish. He's like, it's a cool name, man. I'm like, damn, more power to you, man.
Nice.
And so Bread has an interesting story too, and that's why I like to paint her. She learned English from watching TV, from watching English programs.
Yeah.
And she was also a rebel because there's also like a culture there for women to get married and have kids and do that household thing. But she was educated, she followed painting, and she lived on her own and did her own deal. She was pretty much a rebel, and